So anyway, a few of you have been asking whatever happened to those journals that you made that had pages with plaster on them. Well, I've been working on mine, and it's been a slow process. I just kind of, go back and forth and work on it. And then as I was doing it, I noticed a little pattern that I was really centering on nature. And then I thought, well, why don't I keep it to one season? And then that started getting bigger, and it just kind of, took on a life of its own. So I've started 4 journals, one for each season. None of them are done, of course, but I will give you a quick flip. I don't even have them bound, they're not done. I just have my pages, more like a signature, but I think the one signature is going to be bulky enough to become like its own individual journal. Okay, so this is the one that I did for spring. And this page here is really, really thick handmade paper. That's the first page. And then what I did is I put one of my eco prints on that. And then I'm just, getting my little bits and pieces and things that I have that people have either sent to me or I've made or I've gotten out of books and magazines. So it's a conglomeration of everything. It's really a junk journal, but, done on the plaster. So here's just a scenery that I really liked that somebody had sent me, so I put that on there. And then these are some of my plants that bloomed in the spring. And this is a mandevilla, and this is some leaves from the first blossoms of my hydrangea this past spring. And so I just put them here on a piece of watercolor paper and then did an encaustic on top of that to preserve it. So that's my first page. And then I have some fabric on the back, and then another scene of, it's probably more of a fall scene, but I put it in my spring. I'm looking at it right now. I go, wait a minute, that hillside looks like they're all turning. But I was focusing on the green leaves and the little sprouts there. So in my mind, this is spring, okay? Just look at that part, and we're all okay. Then I had got this super cute little napkin of this sheep, and it just said spring to me. So I put him on there and then kind of drew around him to make his body a little bit bigger and just put a few little flowers. And in my mind, none of these pages are done. They're always going to be added to. And then here's a butterfly stamp. And these pages obviously are blank. And what I did on here, let's see, I've got a bunch of tea bags that I put down on this page, and then I put some more spring looking napkins, and then I have some other little tea bags that are holding some of my eco-dyed papers that were the first leaves that came out on one of our trees in our front yard. Then on this one, this is a plaster page, and again I took another one of my prints. That was from a hydrangea leaf, my spring one. And then I just took a zipper, and I guess once I started working with it, I envisioned like the roots underneath the plant, and then I just sort of had them cascading off, and yeah. that's that one. Some things is kind of hard to explain, but you can kind of see where my mind goes sometimes. And of course that's blank. And this is a print that I did on an envelope, and so I put that there. And then just another cut out from a magazine. I like that print. And then you just open this up and to expose some more of the print on that envelope. And then this picture was some dancers, and they look like French dancers. And then when I thought of spring, I thought of April in Paris, and so that said to me spring. So that's how that ended up there. And then I just liked this picture that was in one of my books, family along the shoreline in Victorian times, and it looked like spring to me. And some fabric that I have that says spring also. Then this fabric that I had put the plaster on, it had some flowers and different things. So I just highlighted it with some watercolor. I don't know if it's going to stay that way or what I'm going to do, but for now, that's what that is. It was some eyelet that I had. Here is some more fabric, and I just liked the way that fabric looked. It had some trees and some flowers, so of course it had to go in my spring book. Here is of some birds and some ginkgo leaves, and here is the beginning. Like I said, it's not done. Here is the beginning of my little cat. I'm going to have a seasonal cat in each one, and so my spring one obviously is not finished yet. And here is something that I got in a swap, and it was a tree, and so I put that there, and just other little things that caught my fancy, and a couple of napkins, because my first things to bloom in my yard were my hydrangeas. So that is from a napkin that had the hydrangeas. So that's where that inspiration came from. And these are all blank. Still waiting for me to do something. And inspired spring look to me. Little kid, first days able to play on their swing outside. Bird, flowers, all spring to me. And this girl, I drew her and to make her look like a spring girl, and this still has to be worked on. So as you can see, there isn't anything done, but I've done a lot, but nothing's done. Okay, so this is my spring one. Now my summer one, this was sent to me in a swap, and I just thought this was so beautiful. And so that went into my summer one, because that looks like a beautiful scene out into the country. And so that I put on some watercolor paper. And then I just love that scene also. And there's a napkin behind that. And these pages aren't done. None of this is done. I love this scene. It's going to go somewhere in here. And here's some handmade paper, not by me, but handmade paper. So I thought that was kind of cool to go in there. And then I did a image transfer of this woman, and it just, she's lounging out on a boat, and I thought that was kind of cool. And some paper that has some birds, and then I just put this rosette that I had of some fabric. This was also sent to me in a swap, and I thought that was so pretty. So I put some fabric behind it, and then I just glued that onto that watercolor. I know this is that's handmade paper. Now, I'm from Southern California, so this old postcard, it shows orange trees, and when I was a kid, during the summertime, the orange trees were everywhere, and there was also peach and So I thought, well, this is what summer um, looked like to me when I was young. And then just some more things that said summer to me. And some more summer, going fishing. And some more plaster pages that I still have to work on. Okay, so that is my summer. And here is my fall signature. On here I just put some what I thought were fall looking colors, and I took some scraps of my plastered paper, plastered fabric, excuse me, and made some leaves and put that there just with a button. And that's the beginning of that page. And here is an image transfer that I did on the plastered fabric. And here I put some fabric and just some pictures and little twigs and things that looked like fall to me. Another picture. And this was one of my leaves from the fall from in my yard from last year. So that's a print that I did. So I included that. And this peacock, I don't know why, it just had fall colors in my head. And a cute little picture that I received in a swap, and so I included that there. And more leaves that I, cut out of my plaster fabric. My poor little dog's barking. He wants in. And this one I went kind of crazy with the fall. These are, again, some napkins that I got. And these are owls, and it looked very fall to me. And then I had this old postcard that was sent to me in a swap. And then I just put another little owl picture that I had, and then added some more of my plaster leaves. And some birds, and some fabric that looked fall to me. And a little girl, I got this in a swap also. And she's there playing out in the yard as the leaves fall on her. And another one of my prints. Alright, so that is the fall. And this is my winter one. Now, I put her there only because, I don't know, I gave her the title of, the Winter Princess or something. She just looked like that to me. So, it's my book, so that's what she is. And then I got some twigs from the yard and put that there with her. And then I also received this in a swap, and I thought that was such a pretty winter scene, so I put that on there. And here's my little winter cat. She has her little hat on, her little scarf, and she's all set for winter. I don't know if she's done yet, but she started. Another scene that was sent to me in a swap, which I have included. And this came from some soap, and it has these foxes, and I thought that was cute. It looks very wintry to me, so I put that there. This was from a book, and so I put that on there. This was a napkin that was sent to me, and I just thought it was so beautiful, and it had to go on here. So I still have to write, I want to write something to put there, but a title of some kind, but I haven't done that yet. This is some more of my printed, this is on fabric, And then I just put it here with some twigs again. And some feathers that I found on the ground. And that was also from that bar of soap that I showed you before that had the little fox. So that came from there. And stuck that right there. And then this flops down. That's also from the same paper. And she must be a relative to the princess. to the winter princess. And here are just some pieces I haven't used yet. And that's that. So those are the 4 seasons, and as you can tell, there's no way I could turn that into one book. So it's going to have to be a set, volume spring, summer, winter, and fall, because this is a little too humongous. And so I've been working on some new ones, and now the other ones, you know, they have my other ones that I had made last year that I sold. They had wood covers, fronts and backs, and I think that's what I'm still going to do with these. But just because I'm, you know, working on them slowly, I haven't put the covers on them yet. But I have been working on some covers for some that I am going to be selling. I do these very slowly because they do take a while. But I thought I'd give a sneak peek of some that I'm working on. Now, I had left the other ones that I made, I left them all white. But I was noticing when I tried to either film or take pictures, you couldn't see the work that I had put on them, you know, whatever kind of either embossing or stenciling or, you know, whatever I had done to the covers, you really couldn't see the design. So what I've done is I've gone very, very lightly with some, a pad of ink, just so you could see, you know, the dimension and what the actual picture is on each one. And once you get it, you know, you can just put some more gesso over it and white it out and do whatever you want. But this is just so you can see actually what's on the cover. But anyway, I'm working on this one. This is obviously a peacock, and this is wood that I have done plaster work on it and gesso and sealed it and all that kind of good stuff. And then we've got some wire with some different things on here. And then the actual signature will be connected to this as an example, you know, of a typical signature that I will be putting in there. It's got a variety of fabrics with the plaster work on it, and a little bit of watercolor and a little bit of mixed media, and of course the fabric. But that's what it'll look like when it's done. So that's the peacock one that I'm working on. I have an Asian one that I'm working on, and that's what that one will look like. What else do I have? I have one that is sort of like a French theme, Paris, and that's what that one's looking like. And I have a Bohemian style one. It's got some elephants and some design. And that's what that one looks like. And I have a one that has some fish and some shells. And that's how much I've got done with this one. And then when I thought that my personal one was going to be, you know, small enough to be under just one one book, I had originally made this cover for myself, but I'm probably going to end up selling this one because I'm going to make an individual cover for each season. It's going to represent a season. So I also have this one that will end up being available whenever I get all these done. But anyway, I have had a ton of fun working with these. Like I say, I don't know when they're going to be done. I don't really care. It's fun. When I find something, I just go over there and I have an envelope for the 4 seasons, and I stick it in there, and then when I'm in the mood, I find a way to incorporate it into my book. But I'm having a lot of fun with it, and for those of you that wondered, you know, what are you doing with those books? This is what I've been doing. I haven't been slacking. I have actually been playing and having a lot of fun with my books. So I hope you enjoyed the little flip of my plaster books.